Returning to one of our top stories this morning, concern is growing about the economic impact of a ban on BC wine. This following some very strong words from Alberta Premier Rachel Notley yesterday. Tyler Orton with Business in Vancouver is joining us now. Tyler, what is this going to mean in terms of dollars and cents on this side of the border?
Well, Alberta actually represents the second most important market for BC wine after this province itself. There are some nuances here to this announcement made yesterday by Alberta's premier. Sales of BC wine directly to consumers has actually long been banned for a number of years. This here is a ban on sales directly to retailers, which represents a value of $160 million in Alberta. This is according to the BC Wine Institute. So it's more than just a symbolic ban here. It's going to have a sizable economic impact on this industry if it persists. But on the flip side, it's actually going to be Alberta consumers who are also being targeted. 30% of all wine sold in Alberta, it actually comes from British Columbia. We're actually one of the few ecosystems in the world that can produce ice wine. So if you're living in Alberta and you want ice wine, you're really not going to have any other options going forward. Think about it this way. What if the Premier of British Columbia purely hypothetically banned the sale of Apple iPhones and the import of Apple iPhones? We'd have a black market develop. We'd have the loss of taxes being charged here in British Columbia, and we'd have a lot of angry consumers as well. But I think for Alberta, they might actually look at the debate over the oil pipeline and say this is actually worth it for them to go forward with this move. So we're definitely going to see some economic fallout in British Columbia. It's more than just a symbolic move here.
Yeah, we have the CEO from the BC Wine Institute joining us a little later on this morning, so we'll hear straight from him how he thinks this is going to affect the industry. Another story you're following today is some new numbers coming out from CMHC with regards to foreign ownership here in Vancouver, and really some surprising information about how young people are getting their parents to basically pay for their properties here while they're living abroad.
Yeah, Reuters got an early look at this report that is coming out in its entirety later this afternoon. And what we find here is that non-permanent residents under the age of 25, they represent nearly 10% of all mortgages here in Vancouver, which is raising concerns that they're being bankrolled by wealthy parents that are living overseas. We also see that between 2014 and 2016, the number of mortgages for non-permanent residents, regardless of their age, it grew from 3.3 to 3.9%. This is based on data from Canada's 5 largest banks, and what it also tells us is because this was done through 2014 through 2016, we don't actually have a complete picture of what the foreign buyers tax actually did. That was only implemented in the summer of 2016. So we are looking forward to more data to see if we do have any idea of if the impact of the foreign buyers tax was actually able to stave off some of these foreign buyers from getting into this market.
All right, Tyler Orton joining us today. Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you, Sonia.